Have you ever seen a crowd panic over something, only to realize later it made no logical sense? Imagine hundreds of people suddenly dancing non-stop, so intensely that some collapse and die, or entire towns becoming convinced they're under witchcraft attacks. Sounds like fiction, right? Well, welcome to the bizarre world of mass hysteria, when human psychology turns whole communities upside down. Today we're diving into some of the most fascinating and disturbing cases of mass hysteria throughout history. Let's explore what they were and why they happened. Stay tuned as we unravel these eerie tales. Let's start with one of the strangest events in recorded history. In July 1518, a woman named Frau Trophea stepped into the streets of Strasbourg, France, and started dancing. Alone at first, she kept going for hours, then days. Within a week, over 30 others had joined her. By the end of the month, 400 people were dancing uncontrollably, some collapsing from exhaustion, and at least 15 reportedly died from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer exhaustion. There was no music, no celebration, just dancing. Authorities at the time believed it was caused by overheated blood and even hired musicians hoping to cure the frenzy by encouraging it. Modern historians believe it was a case of mass psychogenic illness, a kind of psychological chain reaction possibly triggered by stress, fear, or even ergot poisoning, a hallucinogenic mold found on bread. Still, no one knows for sure what caused it. But this wasn't an isolated case. There were at least 7 dancing plagues reported in Europe between the 14th and 17th centuries. The mystery of the dancing plagues remains unsolved to this day. In colonial Massachusetts, fear and imagination collided to spark one of America's darkest events, the Salem witch trials. It began with a group of young girls claiming to be possessed by witches. They accused local women of cursing them, resulting in public hysteria. By the time it ended, over 200 people had been accused, and 20 were executed. What caused it? Some historians point to strict Puritan religious beliefs, combined with social tensions, disease, and possibly hallucinogenic fungi once again. But one thing's clear: fear spread faster than facts. And when people let imagination override logic, mass hysteria follows. The Salem witch trials remain a powerful reminder of the dangers of mass hysteria. This one might sound funny, but it's far from harmless. In 1962, at a girls' boarding school in Tanganyika, now Tanzania, 3 students began laughing uncontrollably. Within hours, dozens more were giggling, crying, and fainting. The outbreak spread to nearby villages. Over 1,000 people were affected across 14 schools, forcing some of them to shut down for weeks. No medical cause was ever found. Psychologists today believe it was triggered by stress and anxiety in a strict school environment, which manifested physically as laughter. This is known as conversion disorder, where emotional distress is converted into physical symptoms. It's rare, but clearly not impossible. The Tanganyika laughter epidemic remains one of the most fascinating cases of mass hysteria in history. During World War II, residents of Mattoon, Illinois, reported a series of bizarre events. They smelled a strange gas in their homes, then felt nausea, dizziness, and even temporary paralysis. Multiple people claimed to see a figure fleeing the scene, a mysterious attacker dubbed the Mad Gasser. Police launched investigations, but no physical evidence was ever found. Experts later suggested the gas attacks never happened. Instead, fear of war and anxiety might have caused psychosomatic symptoms. A community-wide case of imagined poisoning. Newspapers fueled the panic, and the legend of the Mad Gasser lives on. The mystery remains unsolved, adding to the eerie allure of this historical enigma. Now let's fast forward to just a few years ago. During the COVID-19 pandemic, hospitals around the world saw a sudden rise in teenagers developing involuntary tics and spasms. Strangely, many of these teens were active TikTok users, especially those watching influencers with Tourette's-like symptoms. Doctors began noticing a pattern. The tics weren't typical of Tourette's disorder and were often learned behaviors triggered by exposure to similar content. This became known as social media-induced functional tics, in other words, mass hysteria gone digital. It was an emotional response to pandemic stress, amplified by endless scrolling, mimicry, and emotional vulnerability. As awareness grew, so did efforts to support affected teens and promote healthier online habits. So how do these outbreaks happen? Psychologists believe mass hysteria, or mass psychogenic illness, occurs when groups of people respond to extreme stress or fear with shared physical or emotional symptoms. It's often fueled by high anxiety environments, tight-knit communities or schools, lack of clear explanations, and sometimes media amplification. The brain is wired to look for social cues, so when we see others panic or act strangely, part of us unconsciously mirrors them. Add fear to the mix and it spreads like wildfire. It's not madness, it's human. And it shows just how powerful our minds and our crowds really are. Understanding this can help us manage and prevent future outbreaks. One more fascinating case worth mentioning is the Phantom Slasher of Taipei in 1956. In this eerie episode, rumors spread through the city about a mysterious figure attacking women with a razor blade. Panic ensued as more and more women reported being slashed by an unseen assailant. Hospitals were overwhelmed with victims claiming to have been attacked, but strangely many had no visible injuries or only superficial scratches. The authorities launched a massive investigation but could find no evidence of a slasher. The phenomenon was eventually deemed a case of mass hysteria, fueled by fear and rumors. The collective anxiety of the community had manifested in physical symptoms and false reports, demonstrating once again how powerful and contagious human emotions can be. So, whether it's dancing, laughing, or phantom attacks, mass hysteria continues to intrigue and perplex us, revealing the deep complexities of the human psyche and social behavior. From medieval dances to viral TikTok trends, mass hysteria isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a reminder that our minds are deeply connected and deeply influenced by each other. So next time a crowd loses control, ask yourself, is it fear or a glitch in the group mind? Thanks for watching Pursue Insight. For more fascinating facts about psychology and history, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay curious and keep exploring.